Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. I'm here to talk about a few subjects today, namely the submarine incident in the South China Sea, and also I'm going to be talking about a few videos I saw online, and I'm going to try and discuss these videos and try and give my views on them. Also, don't forget to like, share and support the channel if you can. Try and watch the video to the end, it helps with the algorithms. Also, try and check your comments, it hasn't been deleted by YouTube. And if you really like the video, don't forget to buy me a coffee or you can join my Patreon. So without further ado guys, let's get on with the show. So I'm going to start with this story here. A couple of days ago, a US submarine, a nuclear submarine may I add, collided with an unknown object. So that's what the US military had said. They said the submarine had hit an unknown object while submerged in waters in the Asia-Pacific region, injuring a number of sailors, US officials say. So it's not clear what caused the incident on Saturday, they said, but the submarine remained fully operational. Unnamed officials said the collision happened in international waters in the South China Sea and 11 sailors had been injured. So basically, whenever the US mentions an unknown object, you know they're trying to hide something, and you know exactly they're trying to hide something. So I want to kind of give you my thoughts really, and you know, everyone knows that the South China Sea is probably most heavily trafficked zone in the world. You know, there's underwater submarines from Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnamese, plus you got all of these other countries sailing their submarines like US and Britain and France. So what's not been reported is that there's a lot of underwater drones all over the South China Sea. I mean, this is one drone which an Indonesian fisherman found underwater, and these drones could be operated by the US. They could be sending out a lot of these drones to monitor submarines from China and other countries. And you know, Japan could be sending these drones. You know, a lot of Western countries could have been sending drones. But also, a lot of people don't realize this. I found this story. So I found this story. This happened 4 years ago, and the Pentagon says Chinese Navy stole U.S. underwater drone. A Chinese Navy ship stole a U.S. unmanned underwater vehicle from international waters Thursday, according to the Pentagon. So can you mention, they say international waters when they try and avoid mentioning the South China Sea, but if you go further down you can see it says international waters in the South China Sea. So basically what happened, this happened 4 years ago. You can see December 16, 2016, and looks like a Chinese Navy found a US unmanned underwater vehicle. And I think what China has done is looked at the technology, and they probably start building their own. So the Chinese have been probably sending loads of drones under the water. The US have been sending a lot of drones under the water. And so what's happened is this submarine has probably hit one of these drones, because if it hit another submarine, that submarine would have sank, and then that submarine would have release all sorts of nuclear material. But the fact that you managed to go all the way back to Guam, it tells me that the damage was not severe, it's quite light, so it could have been a small drone of some sort. So that's probably what they don't tell you. And the reason why China and America is fairly quiet about this, I think they kind of came across an agreement saying, all right, let's not mention anything, let's not talk about any drones, and let's not talk about these top secret covert operations that's going around underwater. So the Chinese probably are not mentioning it because they don't want the US to know that there's loads of China drones swimming about in the sea, and the US don't want to let China know that there's a lot of US drones swimming around the sea. So they're both trying to kind of keep it quiet. So I think that's what's happened. It's hit some sort of drone, and the fact that they say it's an unknown object tells me that it must be a drone. It can't be another submarine. Otherwise, they would have said they hit another submarine, or they can't say they hit underwater object like a rock or something. They would have said that. I think it's hit another drone, and that's what my opinion is. Let me know what you guys think. So now let's head on to the next subject. For the second part of the video, I'm going to be talking about this video uploaded by New Movies. If you want to check out his channel, you're welcome to do so. So I'm just going to borrow this video, which has been flying around the internet last couple of days, and I'm just going to go through it and give you my thoughts. So before I do, I also want to show you this Uyghur Tribunal GoFundMe page or crowdfunding page, and it looks like they've raised £250,000 from 764 blind supporters. So that is a lot of money, and then you have to also count in all the money going in from the NED, CIA, and all these other organizations, anti-Chinese organizations. So I hope this money goes into good use. So let's have a look at the tribunal, shall we, to see if that money is going into good use.
Report, which is submitted to the Uyghur Tribunal. I have contributed to several chapters.
So already you can see this report was funded by the NED, National Endowment of Democracy. We all know what the NED is, CIA operatives. For those listeners who do not know what NED is, basically you can Google NED on the internet, and I'll send you a link to this document. So basically what NED do, they're basically a simple way of promoting regime change. They like to destabilize countries. They're very pro-war. As you can see, they're calling for invasions and regime change by force of other nations, including Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Ukraine, and now they're focusing on China. So you can see, it's they call themselves National Endowment of Democracy, but it's really is another excuse for war and for regime change, and it's just they're eagerly promoting war, really. So what they're doing with this Uyghur and Xinjiang, they're just getting all these separatists to promote war and giving an excuse to kind of have a war with China. So they bring up all these false narratives about you Uyghurs being in concentration camps and things like that. So let's have a look at what her evidence is, shall we?
Of this report. And I hereby declare that all information provided is true and correct.
Well, that's a lie in itself, and you'll see why. If she thinks all information provided is true and correct, she's definitely lying there.
Right. And one of the problems which the chairman pointed out is this is very, very much a secondary database, isn't it? Mm-hmm. How do we know that the witness or the people you talked to were telling the truth? You said you check, but how do you check?
We talk to them. We ask them about like the source of the information they are providing. Say if they say that their families are detained in a concentration camp, we do ask where they got this information. Is it through phone calls, or is there a document that is proven it? So that's how it works.
Yeah, and you've got some pictures also in there. Are these pictures, I think you do say they're from Google.
Yes.
But how do we know they're true?
Yes, as I said, I wasn't too much involved in the satellite analysis part. We have a satellite expert who is doing this job.
Satellite expert. I mean, is that an actual career? Someone who actually looks at satellite images and is an expert? I mean, seriously, you can just look at a building. They're just showing satellite images of buildings, schools, and factories and calling it concentration camps, and that's their proof, is it? Oh, really? Is that what the world is coming to? So, say for example, I look at a satellite image of my friend next door, and I go to a tribunal and I say, look, there's satellite images of my friend next door, and he's a terrorist. Go get him. Go get him. That's my proof. It's basically the same as that. You can't use satellite images and say that's a concentration camp. That's not proof, right? I mean, come on, guys, come on.
And he usually refers to Google Earth and applications such as Here We Go.
Applications such as Here We Go. Oh my god. These are Google images of China, and he uses applications such as Here We Go. Oh god.
And analyze those based on that.
You were talking about the estimates of the number of people that have been interned, and they seem to be different estimates. They differ from 1 to 3, and then some others say it's 2 to 3 million. Is there any way you know of? I mean, how do we check which is correct?
We refer to different references, and the data that we have, it's just based on what we have.
She's not even answering the question. I mean, 1 million and 3 million, right? It's not like 1 and 2, is it? You're talking about millions of people, you're talking about millions of people in between. So if there's either 1 million people detained or 3 million people detained, that's a huge number, right? That's like a quarter of the Uyghur population. Oh, come on, guys. If a quarter of London was under concentration camps, don't you think the rest of London would literally go up in arms, and there would be riots on the street, there will be demonstrations everywhere, there will be widespread condemnation, people would be running for the borders? Come on, guys. A quarter of the population. Okay, let's continue.
Could you please repeat your question?
Repeat the question.
Really, I was trying to
Is it 1 million
get
or 3
the veracity
million?
of what numbers of people have actually been interned or been to these camps.
Okay, as I said, it's 5,567 in total.
So she's saying 5,567 in total, but all of these Uyghur people, right, all over the internet are saying there's like 3 million. I mean, that's a huge difference, guys, don't you think? Huge difference. And you can see these videos, 3 million Uyghurs detention camps, more than a million Uyghurs, and this woman's saying 3 million here. It's absolutely ridiculous, guys, absolutely ridiculous. So let's carry on to see what she says.
Total, we don't have this entire millions of references. It's not that everyone can come to us and report the data.
Right. No.
Look at her face. Did you see that little? See her face? That's a look of someone who's been caught lying.
Right. No, I was just wondering, because you put it in there, so I just wondered where you got them from other people. So you were just about to tell us about... Sorry, the other thing is you've got several witnesses here, but have each and every one of them been asked questions by you or a team of you? I mean, who else asked the questions?
Some of them are by me, and some of them by the other team members, and also in some cases, they have just given us their testimony directly and written that testimony on their own.
Okay. In page 448, you say that in villages, Uyghur women were almost always forced to have IUDs inserted after the first child, whilst in the cities they were not forced, but they were threatened that they might lose their jobs. But if you look at page 451, it doesn't quite fit in with that, because it says Chinese families allows two children to reside in cities, but the minorities in the countryside are 3 children allowed. It's sort of slightly contradictory?
Exactly. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for asking the right question. Let's see how she comes back with this, shall we?
Which page?
Sorry,
is it?
This woman goes in front of the, tribunal, and she doesn't know what page is it. Well done, well done. That's your 250k crowdfunding and all of these other millions that you get from the NED. That's where the money goes on her research. She doesn't know what page it is or what she's doing.
Page 448. From your reading,
Yes.
are the people in the villages allowed more children than those in the city, or vice versa?
Yes, the introduction part of each chapter are referred to different type of references. So we do have reference on each or everything that is stated here.
She's not even answering the question. All she goes is references. Look at her face.
Okay. Sorry, I'm rather pushing you. Do you want to carry on, and I'll
She's
maybe
being too
interrupt as
polite.
you
If I
go?
was her, I would literally.
Do carry on.
Just before you
Right,
do,
heard of-
I think it's probably fair to say that the tribunal itself asked you to prepare such material as you could from the database that you had, although it was a partial database, and you will
Okay.
be able to respond to any detailed questions in September. I hope that helps.
And also about the pathologization of the Uyghur religiosity, and also Uyghur forced labor and forced sterilization and abortion. 257 prisons, and we have registered 5,567 missing people in our database.
Again, where does 3 million come from? Seriously, where does 3 million come from? And now you're saying there's 5,567 missing people in your database. Seriously, what the hell?
Some of them are just missing, some of them are detained in concentration camps, and some of them are sentenced into prison without any judicial reason. Starting from 1st of September 2017, East Turkestan has...
She mentioned East Turkestan, isn't it? It's like me calling London Disneyland. It doesn't exist. Seriously, people in this tribunal must be thinking, well, what the hell is East Turkestan? Are we in the right, tribunal here? I thought this was about China.
experienced a new language system policy. It is the so-called bilingual education across all elementary and junior high schools in East Turkestan started to shift into Mandarin-only education, and the goal will be that all teaching materials and the medium of instruction would be in Mandarin Chinese only. And in the recent years, the Chinese state has arrested more than 100 of Uyghur intellectuals who have successfully navigated the world of academia, art, and journalism.
Well, in table 1, I think it was,
Yes.
I can't find where the page is. You've got the numbers for the page 416, numbers for professionals. I think you've got all these, actors, writers, and journalists, but this is really from this database. So the question really is, were they actually attacking or bringing in people who were professional and intellectuals?
Yes, that's what we assume.
You assume?
Yeah, that's what she assumes. So you make up a database based on assumption, and you go to a tribunal, it's all based on assumption. Listen, love, when you go to a court or a tribunal, it needs to be facts, not assumptions. Seriously, what the hell? As you can see, guys, this is where all the crowdfunding money has gone to in this trial. Absolute joke of a trial, absolute joke of that lady. She doesn't know what she's talking about. It's all based on assumptions. She can't answer any questions. She talks about satellite images as proofs. It's gone from 1 million to 3 million to 5,567. It's absolutely a shambles, and you can tell by her face she's lying out of her head. If this was a real court, she would go to prison for lying in court. She would basically go to prison. She's lying out of her head. Anyone can see that. So I'm glad to see where all of this money is being wasted. 250k plus all these probably millions the NED is paying. So I'm sure the NED is looking at this and thinking, bloody hell, we need to sack this girl. We need to get rid of her and find someone else who can actually lie properly. All of these Uyghurs coming up, seriously, they're all bad liars, all of them. You can just tell by their faces. It's all bunch of lies, seriously. This whole thing is a joke, absolute joke. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna stop it here because this has gone beyond a joke, and I'm done listening to this ridiculous tribunal stuff, and I'm sure you are as well. The fact is, this is happening in UK, in London, England. It's basically a kick in the teeth, and I can't believe our government is actually going ahead and letting some stupid thing like this happening in our borders. This is going to have huge implications for the future in terms of Chinese-English relations. I'm sure Boris doesn't give a shit, does he? I mean, come on, it's not like his whole country is sinking. There's a food crisis, there's a petrol crisis, there's a crisis everywhere in England. Taxes are being risen, inflation's going up. He doesn't know what's going on, Boris, and he's getting shafted by people from everywhere. People's benefits are being cut. Seriously, the whole country is going down big time. And their most trusted friend, the reason they had a Brexit, the reason they left the European Union is because USA promised them a trade deal. And now they've left it, USA is saying, no, we can't give you a trade deal. It's in the back of go in the back of the queue, basically. That's it. They've been shafted. They've got no other options. They pissed off the Europeans. They pissed off the Chinese. They pissed off the Russians. Seriously, who's left? Who's left for London, England? Who's left to have a trade deal with? Australia, Canada, Mexico. Seriously, they're in the far ends of the world. Seriously, it doesn't make any sense. When you're in Europe, look, the cost of transport between Europe and London is very cheap. But if you're going to transport goods all the way from Australia, look at the time it's going to take, the cost is going to be. They don't think about that, do they? Seriously, they're absolutely stupid, absolutely dumb. This whole government's gone bonkers. Boris has gone bonkers. This tribunal is bonkers. So before I go, guys, I want to kind of show you the state of the British at the moment. As you can see, there's empty shelves across the UK happening at the moment. There's a fuel crisis. Petrol pumps are running dry because people are panic buying. And also there's a gas shortage as well, energy shortage. And things are going to get worse. And do you know why things are going to get worse? It's because we're coming up to winter. And the roads are much more treacherous in the winter or when it's raining. And in England, it rains a lot. I mean, today you can see all of these reports here. Long delays after M1 crash between two lorries. And you can see M20 reopens after lorry crash sparks road closure. And you can see M42 traffic chaos, hour-long delays after two lorries collide, 7-mile backlog. So all of this is happening. Do you know why? Because there's a huge lorry driver shortage. So after Brexit, a lot of European lorry drivers just didn't bother coming back to UK. So recently, Priti Patel made up his stupid rule saying that, you can have a 3-month visa if you come to UK with your lorries. Leave your well-paid jobs in Europe behind. Come to England where there's worse pay. The actual working conditions is much, much worse. And come and help us for 3 months. And before Christmas Eve, piss off back to your country. And she only gave these visas, 3-month visas she gave. 3-month visas. I mean, why would they leave a well-paid European job just to come to UK for 3 months, and at the end of the 3 months, so you'd be told, "Oh, piss off, go back to your country." The reason people voted for Brexit is to kick these Europeans out, is basically to kick these foreigners out. And now they think that offering them a 3-month visa, they're going to come, hundreds of them, thousands of them are going to come. No, do you know how many applied? About 127. 127 applied out of 5,000 visas. Seriously. And the only reason 127 applied because they managed to get a 6-month visa, not a 3-month visa. So the government backtracked and said, "Oh, you can do it for, I think, 5 months or 6 months." And they've only got 127. And what they're also doing is, there's a lot of youngsters who are kind of learning learning how to drive trucks and things, and they're sending them out on the roads with this fast tracking them out on the roads. And when they're fast tracking people out on the roads, that's what happens. Lorries crash, and there's crashes happening all over UK at the moment, causing hundreds of kind of delays and all over UK, and there's miles and miles of delays, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. So they're fast tracking all these young lorry drivers, passing them, saying, "Oh, get them past, don't worry, get them out on the street, we need lorry drivers." And now all these crashes are happening everywhere. Last few days there's been at least 20 or 30 crashes I've seen on the internet, which is not really reported much on the mainstream media. And there's still empty shelves everywhere. There's still a fuel crisis. There's still a food crisis. There's still inflation. And it's going to get worse. And do you know why it's going to get worse? Because winter's coming. The roads are going to get slippery. There's going to be snow on the roads, which means these drivers are going to take longer to get to their destinations. And it's going to get longer and longer. And also during Christmas, a lot of these lorry drivers, they're going to want to be with their families. They're not going to be driving throughout Christmas. When you're a lorry driver, you're away from your family, a lot, and you're not going to sacrifice your Christmas, for anyone. You want to be with your family during Christmas, and especially during like really bad conditions when you have to drive through snow and rain and really bad driving conditions. A lot of these lorry drivers are just not going to bother. Because there was an article I saw on the BBC on why a lot of people were leaving the lorry driver business, and one of them was because it's low pay. Another one was because it's really bad working conditions. You're literally driving 24 hours a day with no breaks. You're stuck in traffic all the time. And a lot of them end up doing other work, or a lot of them end up getting injured, because when you're sitting in your car for 20 or sitting in your lorry for 24 hours a day, you tend to injure your backs. It's not a long career because your body needs to be moving all the time, and if you're sat in one position all the 24 hours a day for all week and all month, a lot of these people tend to get back issues, back pain, back problems. And a lot of them tend to go to other careers. It's not really a good career, so why would anyone sacrifice their lives to help the government? No one's going to do that. And they wanted this, guys. They wanted that. This is why they voted for Brexit, because they thought all of these Europeans and everyone was taking UK jobs. Well, they've got what they wanted now. They kicked all the Europeans out, and now they've got nobody to do these jobs. It's not only lorry drivers, there's jobs all over UK which nobody wants, that used to be done by the Europeans. Now they're seeing what Brexit is causing. And the problem with people in Britain, right, they are quite happy-go-lucky people, most of them, and they don't care about if government raises taxes. They don't care about them sending ships to South China Sea. They don't care about all of this Uyghur Tribunal stuff that's going on. It's a waste of money, waste of resources, waste of time. All of this money could be used elsewhere, and instead they're wasting on this bloody Uyghur Tribunal. And the people in UK, they don't care. It's all just politics. They're just doing it to please the Americans, and this is just going to have long-term issues with the relations between China and UK. And as you know, they've already ruined their relationship with Europe. Almost ruined their relationship with US as well, with the ACRE deal as well. They've ruined their relationship with China, with what they're doing right now. You know, they haven't got any proper trade deal since leaving Brexit. Not even one. They got one with Australia, and it's a deal where Australia basically is winning, and UK is not winning. Australia's basically got everything they wanted, and UK basically agreed to everything that Australia wanted. It's one of those stupid trade deals where Australia got everything they want. You know, there's no negotiation there. Yeah. Let's just we're desperate to sign a deal, so let's just just sign up and get on with it. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And the people, if the people knew the truth in England, what the government's doing, right, especially with the South China Sea and all these stupid tribunals, if people know the amount of money that they're wasting, they're sending all these ships to South China Sea when there's a petrol crisis at home, wasting all this money and increasing people's taxes, or people have to pay for it. If people actually knew the truth, there would be riots in the street. But people are pretty happy-go-lucky in UK, and a lot of them don't really think about it unless it hits them home, and stuff like this actually hits them home when there's shelves empty, when there's no fuel, for example, when their gas prices start shooting up through the roof, when benefits are being cut. That's when people start being hit, and unfortunately there's not enough demonstrations out in the street. There's not enough people, blaming the government at the moment. I just don't know what's going on. People are just taking it like a boxer in a ring where one guy's punching the other guy, another guy's got his hands down, just taking all the punches. That's exactly what most British people are like. They're just taking all these punches from the government and not doing anything about it. But you got people like me who actually have a voice and just speaking up about all of this stuff. There are other people out there on the internet as well, but there's not enough. Just not enough. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna stop here. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.